This video is on behalf of some very well-known Hartlepool faces who are staying anonymous at the moment, purely down to Brian Cockerill, who these days likes to make police statements. If there's any further drama from Brian after this video, then the Hartlepool team won't have any hesitation in going to see him in person. The Hartlepool faces are fucking disgusted at Brian's actions in harassing innocent people. This video gives an insight to who the real taxman is by the proper people of Hartlepool who know this big bullying shithouse very well. He made the name the taxman going around battering young innocent kids for a small amount of money. The most he's ever had in his life at once is probably about £2 because he's that small time. Brian Cockerill threatened to put people's babies in fridge freezers if he didn't get the money he wanted. He smashed people's houses up and broken jaws for a few £100. The man has never had a job in his life, like most of his family. He'd even kicked the doors in of young frail students who had just grown a bit of weed. Who give this bully any right to do a policeman's job? But then again, him and his daft little mate, Terry Dixon, have started making statements to the police. Terry usually beats up women, so you're keeping classy mates there, Brian. The town of Hartlepool has seen your documentary and it was full of bullshit. If you were that hard, why didn't you fight Sammy Tutton when he asked you twice, or Terry Rich when he did? Remember the time you were braiding Ormhouse Jail and you were screaming, Brian? Loads of people witnessed that, didn't they? You act on the internet like you are Robin Hood, when in reality you're a big scruffy minging nobody who's never held down a proper job. Now is the time that people start to see this big robbing bastard get his payback for all the badness he's dished out to innocent people. He's still trying to be the big man. In his latest attempt with the Boyle family for the last 13 months, Brian is your typical bully and crybaby, and as soon as somebody stood up to him like Paul Venice has, he's pretending to be in a wheelchair. He claims he's too old for that shit. He wasn't too old when he was making the Boyles' life hell for the last year, putting their full address online. Their poor Ben had to take a knife to bed because he was that scared. The man's a fucking spineless coward. After the fight with Lee Duffy, he was at Lee's home the next day wanting to be friends. Ask Terry Stockwell, he answered the door. Since Lee died and can't set the record straight, Brian tells every cunt he won, but the two that watched the fight tells a different story. Brian's ex-missus was a girl named Amanda Hawkes. She's terrified of Brian's name and doesn't like anyone knowing where she lives with her Ben in case he finds out. Another one had to move to Australia to get away from him because she still tortured him even after she got an injunction out on him. Brian Cockerill is a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's pretending to be a Christian, but in reality is godly people don't terrorise families like he has been doing. The town of Hartlepool fucking refuses to forget this cunt's shocking behaviour, so I've told some home truths. The only people who like Brian Cockerill are the people on the internet who've never met him. What are people's thoughts on this matter? Because we, the Hartlepool people, know this man well. This man kept out of our town when he started his bullying campaigns, as it wouldn't wash in our town. Brian Cockerill terrorised a lot of young kids for his own personal greed and nothing else. The man is out of control, and those the Hartlepool lads aren't putting up with his madness. If you're watching this, Brian, keep going on and doing what you're doing, and you'll be hearing from us soon. I wouldn't put it past you to go to the police with this video. You have no bottle, and anyone that stands up to you, you run. You're a shithouse bully, always have been, always will be. I want others to respond if you've had any dealings with this piece of shit and show the world who this fat, lying, cowardly bastard really is. This is the voice of Hartlepool.